unipkaaqutiarsigikpin taalaqanilaqannasuk unipkaaqtuaq qaaviuraqama iviaqsiaqarualugguuq iñuuniaqaniqsuq angajuqaagamini sumitaimma iviaqsiaqarualuk amuniallatuniqsaq aasiisuraqallavluni supayaanik iñuuniaqutик anuqqautigaisi anuqulingaallaaqsuq anuqulingaallaaqpaalluni kisaimma paniqnialiaqsivut iviaqsiaqarualuk kisaimma isummeqtoq tavraasi kangitsaquaqsigaassumman anuqlisugurugumagaan summan anuqulingaallaaqamagaan tavraasi kangitsaquaqsigaassumman anuqlisugurugumagaan anuquliqpaalluni suniuraqanaitsoqunni tavrani viaqsiaqarualuk ayuungitsoq payyagniuliqsoq toqutaavayaqtoq kisimriorumi araannapqangapiaqtoq
When I was growing up, my grandpa had a pet white fox. If you're a good friend with a fox, when there's danger abound, they try to keep you from getting into trouble. They pull tricks here and there, and Foxes are like spoiled little kids in a way. When you let her out, she'd go prancing out in the snow, jumping in the air. I know she was happy then. Come running at me and jump on my chest, knock me backwards, lick my face, and I try not to let it. So that was my memory of my grandpa's pet fox.
Caribou it provided for us in many ways.
Our clothing in those days was made of all caribou skin.
I grew up wearing caribou pants, mittens, caribou skin mattress, blankets.
Some people had boots that were made with wolf leggings, sealskin sole bottoms. Baleen was shaved to make insoles. They kept us quite dry and warm as well. But the caribou skin clothing was the best. We would get as many yearlings as we could for our outer clothing. And for a heavy winter, we would get caribou in February or March because the hair was the longest and the skin was the thickest, and we would use those for our winter gear. With that stuff on, you could sleep outside in 50 below and it wouldn't bother you a bit.
Niveaksiagalualuk kangersingalok supayaat ikayoktiqaqanivlugit allauvluni taamna teqiganniaq sivuniqsipkangaga niveaksiagalualuk qanutun peqpaganaqtilaangit tamatkua ikayoktauluat. Niveaksiagalualugulu teqiganniaqalu ikayuutipiaqtuk siqaqaniurutimigini araa kangersinaaitsoqunni qaneq pisilaanga aqlaan tavra atautsikun aingaluk.
In the winter, when we were traveling, we didn't build sod houses, we built snow houses. In Canada, they call them igloo, but here in Alaska, we call them apuyak. We'd do a day of travel, and then we'd make a apuyak. The next day, my father would set traps, spend the day there, rest the dogs, give them something to eat, and then the following day, we continued to the next place. We'd go to my dad's sister, who had a house at Dubarg. They had a small sod house over there. We didn't have to do anything. We just visit with them, and my dad and my sister were glad to see each other, and they'd talk away while us kids played outside or go to sleep. By the time we get back to our home, my father would leave us with our aunt or with my grandmother, and then he'd start on his trips and go check his trap line. We were not into 8 to 5 kind of time, you know. We're in a totally different kind. We're in ecological time.
Iveaksiaqaluallu tikitkaa aaimaarpini. Agalaan maluunaqsigamalaq. Inñoquluk tikinngamaluq iveaksiaqaluallu piingaan. Ivaqaleqsimaluq sumittaimma. Nikatjakkumañainniqsuq. Paqit qaangaarnagu ivaqtani. Nunaaqqiq ikiwaqtuaqaniqsuq. Iñungi toquttaqtauganiqsit. Niveaqsiaqaluallu upperingitqa tautuktani. Tautugunaqtuaq sunapayaaq siquminganiqsuq. Niveaqsiaqaluallum iñuniaqatingi pisaullaganiqsut. Qanuqimña anuquleqpallqiñam tainnaqumiñaitqa. tamanga ikumawak tuaming. Kakrakpam inyo liptaktok. Sumalagula kami ni Beak siya karulong pitching ani. Agalan kakaraw pasakanyat sa gabi nga itchik. Imenyawrit sa gabi kami sa mga nunamin. Hai Gwen tuting. Ukalagtok inyugungaruak upik. Kano ko ilisimanek pa nga. Isumulagtok ni Beak siya karualo ko. Kano kita pura, kano ngagikpen. Kilaw di ka piup ko. Ikayo ko niya kalawikpen kimon dahil nanakek. Sa bakit ilanga?
Drum is something that's common to all cultures in Alaska. All cultures have a drum that may have some stylistic differences or differences in the materials that it's made, but it's still in recognition of life and vitality. And the drum mirrors the heartbeat. And when you continue drumming soon, it will be in line with your heartbeat, because that's what it's supposed to be, the heartbeat of the community, and it symbolizes vitality. And it's the most tremendous feeling to be in a room and to have one long row of all the drummers and to have that feeling of unity and everyone beating in harmony, the drum beat in unison. It's the most beautiful feeling. And to know that you're connected, you're on the land that you are connected to. And even if you grew up outside of the community, that which is in you comes from this area. And it's the greatest feeling.
Man, I went at it and look what happens. Oh.
They're just like other people. They just happen to be very small and extremely strong.
These are stories that are common throughout Alaska. It's normally that people are in the size from your elbow to the tips of your fingers, and they possess superhuman strength. So they may be tiny, but they can carry a whole caribou.
And if you go up north and you talk to a number of the people in the community, they'll talk about having seen the little people.
There's a place at home that we know, but we don't profess it to anybody.
But it's not like the boogeyman.
They can be mischievous, they can be ornery, or they can be helpers.
And every now and then, we might have the opportunity to see them, especially if they want us to see them.
The fact that it's across Alaska really tells you something about our history and how we interacted with nature around us.
Kaya rarak tuat ibyak siya rolo lutang kay. Asi anip giting sunak iduk to siguro bagat. Ibyak siya rolo sabat ko may ahalawit imaynyarat. Bakit ka upir kayaw di ka? Ibyak siya rolo kutingarok kayaw delegaho ni. Upik ko pa tiyapalungarok. Asi tabura pibir takiliw di pa lagaga ibyak siya rolo. Dahil nahone ay chudi kirakangarok. Upik ukalagtok. Uvaw na kao nagingagiga. Iligin nun pikit kublugo.
The bola is what we call kilometang. And the kilometang is made out of braided sinew tied out to some heavy bone which you could twirl. In my case, we're catching ducks.
When we're out whaling, sometimes the ducks start flying. And they're good for duck hunting. You know, if you're a whaling crew, you can't make too much noise. So you can't use a shotgun for getting some duck soup handy, you know. So bolo was a really handy weapon to use for catching ducks. You know, the ducks fly in, you throw it up and tangles up the bird, and down they go. Tabra taigna igilehotek. Libeaksiarualum atoka uppium aichuta. Sila taane lunaaqqimata innuqulukkassuaak. Innuquluum tautukamium nutqaqugaa. Agalaanniviaqsiaqarualuk saperiñaqsimaluk. Annap qaallikkaluaqtuk agalaan igilauningak siqqaqanaqsisiinñaqtuq. Malaquguni ugluguni uisaauvlutik.
The scaredest I've ever been, I was 12 years old. We floated out on a piece of ice while we were duck hunting. It was a bluebird day, just clear blue skies. And there was 3 of us, myself, my brother, and my dad. Next thing you know, we see this dark shadow on the ice. We look and it goes behind us. So we all jumped up, startled, and my dad, he started running. We got back to the ridge there. The ice had fractured, cracked, and broke off, and we were floating away. We were drifting. It was close enough to where my dad would have made it. He stopped and he thought about throwing us across, and if one of us was on the other side, we would be split up. So he stopped, and he just so happened to have a cell phone on him. 911 didn't pick up. That's the worst feeling in the world right there. 911 did not pick up. So he left a message because they record their calls. Once he had relayed that information, his cell phone died. That was the scariest moment I've ever had in my life. We were floating away and I thought we were left for dead. He kept calm during this situation. He's bringing out everything positive in this case. You know, I'm crying, my brother's freaking out. It went from clear blue to dense fog. Within a couple hours, we heard the chopper flying around, so they must have gotten our message. We thought we were saved, and then the chopper sound went away. So we lit some of the sled on fire. It's plastic. We thought black smoke in the fog would create some kind of marker. Chopper pilot had mentioned when we got rescued, you could see a glow in the fog, and he slowed down there, and sure enough, as soon as he slowed down, we got within visual. That was definitely the scariest moment of my life, was floating away and not knowing what the outcome was going to be.
Tavrattuvaharuma mittisitchu. Agalan tuavit pagavitchu. Siku nalunak to anak iwilaganiyak kilama. sasa ko may akalo ko nanok, anak ko bit. Pinatitaka bit. Kakame nanok, lipat jalay.
We're very much aware of the climate change. And it's been for many years, even before climatologists were noticing this change, Inuit were already saying, Sila alangoktok. Our climate is changing.
If the heat is going the way it is right now, for us it's going to be pretty bad. Different birds are coming, and they're coming earlier, and sometimes rain is more than what we want, because when there's more rain, we know it's going to melt the permafrost.
In my time as a young whaler, when I was 9 years old, we're hunting from ice that was about 25 feet thick. And there's giant icebergs already floating, coming by. That was the first signs of a changing climate. Ice that never broke before was now moving. Now, here it is 50 years later, we're hunting whale from ice that's 18 inches thick. There's no more thick ice.
It's creating a malfunction in our whaling season is what it is. Actually, more than that, all seasons in general.
I think we are more scientists than more people will realize. We have more knowledge of those things than people will ever know.
Agalan, naman na alaw. Luktalanit sa kalubaya. Tikisakak nannupsit ranga. Asi piyumagilipik syuakai. Tikisakot. nakkaluaqtuk agalaan ilitsuqiluk piaqtilaangan nunam atimikini niveaqsiaqalualugulu tiriganniaqalu imaaqtuk aasi taqium angalat taqsivillugik taqium igukkai qairusunginun puktaaqpaum araaqanuhutik taimma ipingitpak
In, Arctic Alaska, hunting is a really important part of life. It's not just about going and shooting something, it's about going and putting food on the table. But more importantly, subsistence hunting isn't just about the insular family unit, it's about feeding the whole community. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about subsistence hunting in Alaska is that people go out and they'll go get, fish, or they'll get a caribou, and they'll get, seals and whales, and one of the first things they'll do is they'll say, oh, I need to take this to the elders. This isn't just about one individual surviving or one family surviving, it's about the whole community.
We didn't just go out and kill and put in a freezer. It's like a ritual that I learned from my parents.
It's all about relationship. I don't know. I think there's a lot of camaraderie involved, and just being out on the land or being out on the ocean. It's like getting back in tune.
I'd rather be out there. To me, once I go out there, it's the world that I learn from.
Now we spend all our time out in nature. You get very intimate with the world. And over time, if you're living that life, you start to sense that everything has a spirit. There's a consciousness in everything. Everything is alive. If everything is alive, then we want to respect it. And if we're going to use it, we want to use it respectfully.
What I try to tell my nephews and nieces, you know, you love to hunt, you have to take care of the animals that you catch, preparing the food and eating the food that you catch.
Water provides you. The ice brings you life. It provides all those things that you need to be a part of your life.
That was something I grew up with. I grew up respecting the animals. I grew up respecting the land. And that, to me, that is why we as Inupiaq, as an Inupiaq culture, as an Inupiaq people, is why we're so successful. Nibeaksiarualugulo teriganniaqalu suvlooqaik aqaviqum qingamigum suvlooqaik aqaviqum sillamun ilaakataktuak sillamun tipineqaik saanganun nunaaqqan
We have Big Diamond, Little Diamond, and King Island. And in those three islands are the stepping stones to get to America.
So King Island is this absolutely beautiful place off the coast of Alaska. And if you can imagine being on this really kind of rocky island that kind of shoots up from the water to these cliffs. And then all of a sudden you see these stilts and then you look up and there are these houses.
They were built on the cliff up high because of the ice. Being an island in the Bering Sea, you have ice that's being pushed by the winds onto the island. So it's going to pile up 50, 60 feet high. Structures are still there today and people have returned to King Island. It's a growing community as the people return back to their island.
Taamna nunaaqqeq innyitqingaanniqseq tainnaptaaq pingavulugu iviaqsiaqarualluum aimaaqaviatun